What happened to D.C., especially during the civil rights period, was that protesters that were bussed up here stayed here.
The civil rights movement. I wonder who could have been bussed in. That's interesting.
The city was burned to the ground. This happened during massive riots throughout the 60s and 70s.
You know what's the cool thing about history? You get to still learn. And I was looking at, I'm like, I remember hearing this about some right in like 1968, which was when MLK was unalived. They rioted for 4 days in D.C. specifically, but there were riots all over the country because of this specific event. But I was trying to think, were there any more major riots? And I, started Googling some things, and I went to like the housing and all these things, and it's so crazy. Listen to this real quick. Housing in D.C. was deeply segregated. Most of the slums, that's going to be key, most of the slums in the cities were in the southern part of the city, and most of the inhabitants of these slums were black. The United States Commission on Civil Rights said in 1962 that housing was much harder to attain for blacks than whites, and that the housing blacks could find within the city borders was in a severely worsened condition, often alley slums. See, that word's gonna be key in a minute here. Than the housing of white counterparts. The commission also stated that it was the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, of course, segregation and zoning plot for the city that was to blame for the housing inequality. HUD also came under fire from a group called Access, Action Coordinating Committee to End Segregation in Suburbs. That's pretty catchy. When they protested HUD for giving federal money to buildings that restricted blacks from living in them. It's quite amazing. While 80% of DC's police force being white and 67% of the city being black, tensions between police and the community rose along with tensions between whites and blacks before 1968. Now, this was right before, we'll say it's 1965, the same time and place as Dr. Martin Luther King worked with white lawmakers to pass the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Two white D.C. police officers arrested a group of black boys with ages ranging from 12 to 16 for playing basketball in an alley. This prompted the majority of black crowds to gather around police stations around the city, throwing rocks and, in some cases, firecrackers. These small, disorderly protests would happen multiple times before the end of 1965. So you see, it seems like they were really residents of the city who came during the Great Migration. But yeah, this is and like the biggest riot that I've come across and during the '60s was the 1968 riot when unfortunately MLK was unalived. But let's continue. This is gonna be a long video, y'all.
Vast swaths of the city were torched and were never really rebuilt. And so what President Trump is doing is reasserting control of not only our nation's capital, but truly the seat of Western civilization.
I don't know, when I hear that Western civilization, I just think of people trying to conquer other people's land. Is it me? It could just be me. What y'all think?
D.C. is a representation of the work of your forefathers and mine. It is
ding, 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 ding. Another key phrase, your forefathers and mine. We got to remember what those forefathers were doing at the time. And who were they were doing it for, actually. And I'm not trying to negate that some parts of the Constitution aren't amazing, because they are, because we could rewrite them. But when it was initially wrote, it was for those white men. Those men specifically. Like, come on, like, let's be real.
Is, by every measure, a very beautiful city architecturally. It is a sacred city. It is a sovereign place with the monuments to great men and women who've sacrificed far more than you or I could ever dream for this country. It must be preserved because the peoples of Earth come here.
The people of Earth, you mean immigrants?
By the millions per year in order to witness the success or failures of our systems.
Does anyone know what this guy's talking about? The what? No what? No failures? They can't just watch it from their country. They have to literally come here. What are you talking about?
And if you are a proud patriot and you love this country and you wish for it to be reflected honorably to the peoples of Earth, then Washington, D.C. must be swept clean.
Now we getting into it, buddies. Some of the things that he is about to say is why I call Benny black man's biggest threat. If I would say Stephen Miller is because Benny Johnson has a far more reach and is on YouTube and social media every day compared to Stephen Miller just enacting. Ooh, that might be a hard one. That might be a hard one. It's a hard one. But he's definitely in the top 5 of black men should be worried about. I don't care if you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. I don't know though. See, I hesitated because what if he know you're a Republican? What if he? I don't know. That's just some of the things that he's going to start to say are just like, wow, who are you talking about? Like, because of the composite of DC, we kind of discussed it from the '60s on. They call it Chocolate City. like this is crazy. But let's keep going.
I believe entire neighborhoods probably need to be emptied, need to be bulldozed. I believe that there are places that are so crime ridden and so infested that you just need to, you're just going to have to crack down. You're going to have to do the job, and you're going to have to get the crime out of Washington. That's my personal experience. Don't believe the bullshit that you hear online from some reporters. Oh, crime's down in D.C. Well, my infant nearly died in a drug fire after mass shootings.
It almost seems like he's trying to roll it all into one, does it? Like it happened one magic. I won't say one magical night. Let me not say magical, but I'm just saying it was a mass shooting and then the drug fire. Come on, man. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Watch how he start talking. Like it just. Oh my God, y'all gotta listen.
So no, DC is not safe. And I can tell you this as a matter of fact, it is one of the worst, most racist narco states and welfare states imaginable. And that.
Wow. You see what I'm saying? Like, to who? Who is it racist to? That's what I want to know. Who's it racist to? It's crazy. This is your black Republicans. This your boy. I know you say he ain't your boy, but my thing is, who you think has more pull with him, with Trump? Benny Johnson or Jesse Lee Peterson or the Hodge twins or Candace Owens? Who you think got more pull? Or just has Trump ear like Benny Johnson does or Laura Loomer or MG like this?
In that neighborhood that I would walk every single day, racial epithets were screamed at us, rocks were thrown at us because we were white people. This city is a sunken place. It is an unsafe place. I mean, if that's what happens to me, imagine what happens to somebody who's like visiting here from a foreign country.
Boogity boogity, boogity boogity. Like, y'all don't feel the fear? I feel the fear. Don't you feel the fear?
Right? It's totally and wholly unsafe and a scar on the face of our country. And it must be healed. And President Trump is going about that heavy work. So God bless the president.
He started off with so much hope and so much optimism about the city and how it was such a great beacon of light for everyone on the earth. But it's ruined. Like, that's crazy. I don't know, man. Y'all be careful out here. Stay aware. Stay safe. Black man, stay safe. All of y'all, Republicans, Democrats, liberals, people who don't vote, stay safe, man. Because I mean, who you think they coming after? Like, literally, it's gonna start in D.C. And if the country is cool with it, then it's gonna roll. We ain't gonna be able to stop it. It's gonna roll like it. They don't care. They don't care about anything but themselves. They're coming for the. Let me shut up. It's gonna be the elite only. And I know a lot of people talk. We're in the golden age, and we want to make it like the gilded age. Y'all should really look into the gilded age. I don't know why you think it was fine for America. It was fine for the barons of America, but everyday folks, no. But you know, it is what it is. And who am I but a moron with the conscience, aka conscious moron? I appreciate the pull up. Hopefully you are still here. If you are, tell me if this picture reminds you of anything like Trump. All right. I appreciate y'all. Remember, without you, there is no moron. Hopefully you liked the video too. Peace.